Lucamus Prime here, so it is time for another Star Wars review today, and today is a very special review because today I'm going to be reviewing my number one favourite Star Wars movie of all time, and guys, it is none other than Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So yeah, so this is the final installment of the Star Wars original trilogy, and in my personal opinion, guys, the final film of Star Wars ever, with nothing coming after it. So yeah. Now, this is an absolutely perfect movie in every way, guys, in my opinion. And yeah, it's time for me to gush about it. So, what do I love about this movie? I love the entire cast's performances. Once again, I adored Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, playing my childhood hero. I love how in this movie, Luke has fully, matured into a Jedi Knight. Yeah, he's not a master yet, is he? Under the training of Master Yoda. And yeah. And I also love this movie for introducing it to, my personal favourite lightsaber, which is Luke Skywalker's green lightsaber. I really love it, yeah. Might be unpopular because others love Anakin Skywalker's blue one, but I love Luke's green one, actually. And yeah, so other things as well, once again, loved Harrison Ford as Han Solo in this. He was great in the role. I'm glad that, he was convinced to return because, ever since they shot Empire Strikes Back, he's wanted Han Solo to get killed off. So yeah, I'm very glad that in this movie, he returned and luckily did not get killed off. I was happy about that. Other things as well is, I did once again love Carrie Fisher, rest in peace, as Princess Leia. She was once again absolutely great in the role. I loved her in it, and yeah. So yeah, she was absolutely perfect as always. Yeah, love Leia. Peter Mayhew was also wonderful as Chewbacca, great as always, and yeah. Loved Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker, rest in peace, as 3PO and R2 once again. Playing, my two favourite droids, absolutely. Even though 3PO is my all-time favourite, yeah. They were both great in this movie, great chemistry. And in terms of, villains, I really adored the legendary James Earl Jones as Darth Vader's voice, absolutely. And of course, David Prowse, rest in peace, as his body. And Bob Anderson for the stunt scenes in the lightsaber duel. Speaking of... Back to heroes, guys. Lando Calrissian, I loved him in this movie. I actually like him more in this movie than The Empire Strikes Back because he has a much bigger role and much more screen time. And I like that, really. And I like how, he's an ally to the, the rebels instead of being a double crosser that he was in The Empire Strikes Back. I did like that, really. And yeah, his role in this was much more important as well, definitely, because he, of course, had a role in the battle against, the second Death Star. Speaking of the second Death Star, I really, really loved Death Star 2 in this film. It was really great. It's probably my favourite space station in all of Star Wars, absolutely. I just think the design is really awesome. And I think, the idea of it looking like it's nearly completed just fitted so well. And I like how compared to the first one, it's much more stronger and bigger. And not only that, but how there's an exhaust port in the first one. In the second Death Star, it's gone. They fixed that flaw. So yeah, that's what I did like, how they were very innovative when it comes to making the second Death Star. Now, back onto the topic of villains, I really, really adored the entrance of Emperor Palpatine, played by the legendary Ian McDiarmid. When it comes to watching this after seeing the original 1980 version of Empire Strikes Back, this was definitely a major improvement over the Emperor in that version of the film. Absolutely, because Ian McDiarmid totally embodies the role of the Emperor, and his entrance on the second Death Star is definitely one of the greatest entrances I've seen in all of Star Wars, absolutely. Really great. And Ian really did channel the villainous side of Palpatine in this film, like such a terrifying and compelling villain, and I loved his role in this, yeah. Other things that I do also love, guys, is I do love the battle scenes. For example, I love the battle on the Tatooine barge, which belonged to Jabba the Hutt. That was really great, really action-packed. I also loved... This is my favourite battle in the entire Star Wars saga, guys, which is a Battle of Endor. I love how it takes place not just on the Endor moon, but also above it in the space battle. Like, that's just absolutely epic, really. I do love it, and... Speaking of Endor, I really adore the Ewoks. They're so cute and friendly. Yeah, I love the Ewoks. Really adorable creatures. Even one of my favourite creatures, of course, Wookiees, because I love Chewbacca, so yeah. But the Ewoks are definitely cute as well. And another thing that I do also love, I did also love how Jabba the Hutt played a slightly bigger role in this compared to New Hope as well, yeah. Because after seeing him in New Hope, I thought he deserved more attention, and I'm glad that he finally got it in this movie as a villain in the first half of the film, which was great. Another thing I do also love is definitely the send-off to Yoda on Dagobah. I thought that was a very touching and emotional scene, and definitely the perfect way to send off, the Grand Master of the Jedi, absolutely. And yeah, it was very touching and pretty emotional as well, yeah. But at least as well, they finally confirmed that what Vader said to Luke was true about him being his father, so yeah, thanks to Yoda, Luke now knows the truth. And speaking of that revelation, guys, I like how this movie finally clarified, why Ben Kenobi appeared to have lied to Luke about who his father was in A New Hope. Because at the end of Empire, Luke was asking, Ben, why didn't you tell me? And luckily this movie clarified it with Ben saying that, when Anakin turned to a dark side, Darth Vader literally killed him. So what Ben Kenobi told Luke was true from a certain point of view. So yeah, so I'm glad Return of the Jedi clarified that, absolutely. Because when I was watching Empire for the first time, I was thinking, when Luke said, Ben, why didn't you tell me? I was like, yeah, why didn't he tell him the truth? Huh. So luckily this movie confirmed it, absolutely. Other things as well that I do also love is, I love John Williams' soundtrack for this movie. It was really great. I like how he, as well as thinking about other tracks he's composed before, he included new ones. For example, I love the theme for the Ewoks, it's very nice. And I do love Palpatine's theme that he composed. It's definitely one of the best villain songs ever. Even though my favourite villain song is the Imperial March, Palpatine's song is definitely up there, my top favourite villain songs. And another thing as well is, I do love that the confrontation between Luke and Vader in the Emperor's throne room on the Death Star 2. Because, I think it's very well choreographed and definitely improved compared to Empire Strikes Back's duel because, for example, Luke and Vader do more stunts. For instance, Luke kicks Vader down the stairs and, Vader falls down. And Luke does a backflip jumping up onto a platform as well. And Vader shows us the skill of throwing his lightsaber, which was pretty awesome. So I do love that duel, and I love how it's a rematch between them, and it shows how far Luke has come since his previous duel, and that, he's improved in every way, really. Because it's proven when it overpowers Vader and cuts off his hand. So, yeah. And one of my favourite quotes ever said by Luke, this is probably my favourite quote by him, where he says to the Emperor that he'll never turn to a dark side, and that he's a Jedi like his father before him. I just really love that quote, and it just shows, how optimistic Luke is, really, and that it shows that he will never turn to a dark side. I just really love that quote, and it's why he's my hero growing up. Now, speaking of that scene, my favourite scene in the entire Star Wars franchise is this scene where, Vader's redemption. I just think it's a very powerful scene, really. And even though Vader's wearing a mask, you can tell that he's got a conflict within him between Vader and Anakin. And yeah. And it was such a powerful moment. And as a fun fact, guys, that's the only time in the entire Star Wars saga where you can hear a Force theme playing over a shot of Darth Vader's armour. Because that's like a sign that he's turned to the light side. And I just really love that scene. And in my opinion, guys, that scene where the Emperor's thrown down the shaft to his death, that, in my opinion, is the true canon ending of Palpatine. I do not care what sequel trilogy fans are going to say to me. I really do not care. Palpatine truly met his end in this film, and I do not care about the fall of Skywalker bringing him back as a clone, because that just basically means that Anakin Skywalker died for nothing, doesn't it? What is the point of Anakin sacrificing himself to save his son by killing Palpatine at the cost of his own life if Palpatine's going to come back as a clone in Fall of Skywalker? Yeah. So he died for nothing. So yeah, that's why I consider Palpatine's death in this movie to be his true canon ending. That's why, the sequel trilogy, in my opinion, is just fan fiction that's non-canon, made by people that don't understand a thing about Star Wars. So yeah. And now, another one of my favourite scenes in the film, guys, is definitely the celebration at the end. That is definitely the way Star Wars should have ended. And in my opinion, it is how it ended, to be honest, because if I ever have children, guys, in the future, I'm going to tell them that this is the final Star Wars film, and that, you know, there's nothing else after it. Yeah. Because this is how it should have ended. Absolutely. Like, it's such an emotional scene, and it's so satisfying. And I love how in the special edition of this, they included more planets celebrating. It was really great how they did that. And they added a couple of details in for prequel fans, such as, you know, in Coruscant they show the Senate building and also the Jedi Temple. I think that's in the 2004 version of it. Because, I mean, in the 1977 version they didn't include those buildings. But yeah. And as well as that, I did love the inclusion of Naboo as well. And they also included Mos Eisley as well, and Cloud City. But yeah, this was just, you know, a very emotional scene. And the dancing as well was great. And I especially love the music as well in that scene. Really great. And I did love as well, you know, the shot of Luke seeing, you know, Ben Kenobi, Yoda and his father totally redeemed to a light side, coming back as Force ghosts. And if you're wondering which version I prefer the version with Hayden Christensen, because it makes sense that he would appear as Anakin, because that's how Anakin appeared before he turned to the dark side. So yeah, it makes perfect sense that you know, they'd add Hayden to that scene. And I don't understand why people would hate that, because it's a perfect way to bring together both the prequels and the originals. So yeah, I do love that version of the celebration. And in terms of the music, guys, I do like the 1983's original version, but I like the newer version in the special editions way more, to be honest. And I will admit, guys, I've said it before, but I'll say it again, and for you didn't see my Star Wars challenge video that I did about my favourite film, that every time I re-watch a celebration scene, yes, even now when I'm 21, I still tear up, because it's just such an emotional scene, really, and it's perfect. And it's how the franchise, you know, ends, in my opinion. It's the true final end of Star Wars, absolutely. And yeah, I really do love it. And the final shot where we see all the characters together was just absolutely perfect. We've all sat together, that was just wonderful. Like, that was just absolutely perfect in every way. Spectacular. Absolutely astonishing, yeah. So guys, this was me reviewing Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi from 1983. My favourite Star Wars movie, and if you wonder why I give it out of 10, I give it a flat 10 out of 10. It's my favourite Star Wars movie, it's absolutely perfect. If I give it a million out of 10, of course I would, but yeah, 10 out of 10 to be specific, yeah. So guys, you know the drill, be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to leave more comments what you guys think of Return of the Jedi, if you've seen it, what your thoughts are on it. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe for more videos coming in the future, and may the Force be with you always.